Hello, good day. Please, can you hear me? Kindly react if you can. Okay, so I want us to wait for like 5 to 10 minutes for others that are still trying to join. So by 12:17, 12:15, we are going to start the meeting. I hope you can hear me. Kindly react if you can.
I can't hear anything. Please, can anybody hear me?
We can hear you, but please, who is actually speaking?
Sorry, I can't hear anybody. That was the reason why I said, can anybody hear me?
I understand. So participants are not meant to have access to mic. So I'm actually wondering which link did you use to enter the meeting and your mic is enabled. But it's fine. But please stay muted. Hello, so okay. Welcome to today's live session. Please kindly react if you can hear me. So this is basically a question and answer session, really. So that's what this class is about. I got like three or two questions, but they are not really serious questions. So I believe maybe some of us want to leave um they want to wait till the live session. They want to ask their question live. Well, no no problem about that, really. But before we go into asking of questions, I would like to take comments from yes, I would like to take comments from us about the classes so far. We've had 5 classes, and then with the onboarding session, that is actually 6 classes. If you have questions, you can type it in the chat. But now I would like to take comments. So if you would like to talk about your experience from the classes so far, you can actually raise up your hand, and then I will enable your mic so that you can speak. Okay, 2 people are raising up their hands already. So as three I'm going to enable the mic for Esther now, and then she can speak. So Esther, you can speak now.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Leslie. I've been following up the classes since the onboarding section up to the last one you uploaded that was uploaded on inferential statistics, and I can say that the classes have been so insightful because before now I've been trying to learn data analysis on my own. I've gone through like two different courses on Excel, even SPSS as well. But they don't teach about statistics. They'll just go into talking about the tools. So after learning all these things, I won't still be able to apply it when I get a data set. I will have to go through a lot of struggles, watching YouTube for every step I make just to get even what is it called descriptive analysis done. So I'm really really grateful for this class because I've learned the very basics that I need to build on. Thank you very much.
Okay, okay. You're welcome. I am very happy to hear that. Okay, actually, in this meeting, Abefe is also in this meeting. I should have actually celebrated him earlier. I'm sorry about that. So Abefe is in this meeting, and we know that we had one of the session on Friday, and I know you agree with me when I say that session was actually very powerful and insightful. So if you actually enjoyed Friday's class, where Abefe taught inferential statistics, can you kindly actually react by clapping? Yeah, I want to see I want to see you clapping. I want to see your reactions for Abefe. Okay, thank you. So Abefe, would you like to say anything before? Yeah.
Yeah. Hi everyone. And good afternoon to everybody. I really don't have much to say at the moment, so let's just kick start it. As time goes on, there'll be something to say. Thank you.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much. So now we'll enable mic for Shalom. So Shalom, you can speak.
Good afternoon, Miss Mercy, and good afternoon, everybody. Like, first of all, I would like to say thank you to Mercy and the other organizers of this training. It has really been impactful, and I mean, I've been gaining a lot so far. The fact that I've personally talked to Miss Mercy about this training, and she made it like a general thing, and I'm still able to get the things I've been willing to get for quite a while. I think that's really a good thing, and I say thank you once again. So my question is, there is we mentioned different types of tools for my for data analysis. We have Excel, we have SPSS, we have some other ones too. So I've actually been able to download SPSS, Excel, and Power BI, but I've not been able to download the last one. Well, my question is, in what conditions do we have to choose a tool over the other when we have projects? Like, when do you know you have to use Excel? When do you know you have to make use of XPSS? When do you know you have to make use of Power BI? And when do you know you have to make use of graph path to solve or to execute a project when you have been when you get one? Yes, I think that's my question. Thank you.
Okay, okay. So I'm going to contribute. I'm going to try to answer that question, and Abefe will also talk about the question too. So when it comes to the tools, um, when it comes to the tools that you should use, honestly, it depends on. You can use, okay. To me, if it's a personal project, okay, maybe I can you should not use the word project. If it's a personal research, yes. So you might use the tool that is easiest for you to use, like that is more natural to you. So for me personally now, depending on what I am doing, I'll probably maybe go to Excel first. So you can use the tool that is more natural to you, that is like easier to use for you personally. If it's like a personal research and you can determine the tools that you want to use. Now if it's not exactly a, okay, maybe you are working under a supervisor now, so you can actually interact with your supervisor that, okay sir, which tool should I use for this, which tools should I use for the analysis of my project. Okay, so certain supervisors or certain departments, they have the tools that they love to use for their analysis. Yes, so while I was in my final year project, I've worked on it. I've used Excel for a long period. So then later on, I was told to use GraphPad Prism. There are some departments in my faculty that they use GraphPad Prism. That's what they use. Some departments use Microsoft Excel. Some departments use SPSS. Some use eViews in the same faculty. So the choice might be dependent on your supervisor, might dependent on your department also. Also, it might be dependent on the methodology of your project. If maybe you've written your, I don't know, what is it, abstract? It's not abstract though. If you've written your proposal and maybe you've actually specified that you're going to use a tool under the methodology of your proposal, maybe you might have to stick with that tool. Do you get? So I think that's my own answer to that question. Abefe, please, can you also contribute to this question?
All right. Okay. So, if I'm to get the question right, it's all about why do we use a particular tool over one of the other, right? Is that not it?
Yes, how
And
do
that's
we
the
determine
question.
which tool to use?
Okay, so basically, like I used to say, I've mentioned this several times. All of these tools have strong points, like what they know how to do. Now, some tool can do more than two things, some can do a lot of things, some they are specifically for a particular thing. So, for example, SPSS, for example, is a statistical analysis tool and a data analysis tool too. You understand? So SPSS is used for basically data management to a degree, data analysis, and statistical analysis. So if you want to perform anything that has to do with statistical analysis and building regression models and all of those things, you should know that you're going to be using SPSS. Now, R can do everything that SPSS can do. Python, in fact, any programming languages like Python are they can literally do anything because you can just download the needed libraries and you like do everything. So R and Python are like orgas. They're in their own lane. They can do everything you want to do. Data management, data visualization, statistical analysis, machine learning. They can do it because they are libraries or modules that have been built specifically for it. Now, Excel is a general tool in the sense that Excel is a spreadsheet tool, but has evolved into a tool that can do lots of things. Excel can do data management. Now, by data management, I mean data preparation, how you can recode, label data, manage data, import data. You know, Excel can do that. Excel can also perform basic to intermediate level data analysis. You understand? Excel can help you perform EDA, it can perform descriptive statistics and all those things. But Excel is not good for statistical analysis. You can't use Excel for statistical analysis. Excel is limited when it comes to analyzing survey data or perform it can't. Now Excel cannot also perform data visualization. Excel can do that. So Power BI is more of a business intelligence tool, data modeling tool, data visualization tool, and also a data management tool. And the same can be said with Tableau. So it depends on the type of wahala or problem that you find yourself that will determine the tool that you want to use. You are a final year project student and you're supposed to work on a survey data and analyze it. Why are you using Power BI? Why are you using Tableau? Why are you using Excel? It's supposed to be SPSS. If no SPSS, we have the likes of GraphPad Prisms too. We have eViews. We have Minitab. We have Starter. These are statistical tools that you can use to analyze, survey, and perform statistical analysis. So it just depends on the problem you find yourself. SQL is also a tool out there, but SQL is basically used to query relational databases. So they cannot give you survey now. You're going to try to use SQL to analyze it. You are wrong now. So you have to understand the tool first, and you have to know that each of the tool has different use case scenario. That's just it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Abefe. I'm not sure who asked the question again. Please, have your question been answered?
Yes, 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 that's an answer. Thank you very much. Thank you
Okay,
very
okay,
much.
okay, okay. Yes. So let's see the next person. Um, that's Badam. Okay, there's a question in the chat, so let's quickly attend to that. Sorry to the people raising up their hand. So I have a question on inferential statistics. I didn't really understand the critical value method. The consideration of the right-tailed and left-tailed test got all modeled up for me. Then secondly, how do you know the best visualization chart to use? Okay, me, I'm going to answer the second question. The first question is I prefer that I answer it. Even me, I don't like that critical value method. Okay, so for the second question, how do you know the best visualization chart to use? So part of the slide I presented on data visualization. For the subsequent classes, please everybody should register for the classes. If you do not register for the classes, it means I will have to be adding people one by one. So I don't want to do that. So I'm just adding people today because I'm not sure why I need to add people. It's because some people did not register and they are trying to join the meeting. Okay, so moving on, how do you know the best visualization chart to use? I have a slide that talks about, oh Lord, I have a slide that talks about data type, and it talks about data type and then visualization that is actually suitable. So if you are talking about a categorical variable, please can we still hear me?
Yes, we can. We can now.
Okay,
Can you hear me?
okay. So if we are talking about a categorical variable, I'm sure we all should know what the categorical variable is. If we are talking about the categorical variable, and then so we that time with that we can use either of pie chart, bar chart, column chart, all the like those three we can use it. So for data visualization, but if we are talking about a numerical variable, so then for a numerical variable we are talking about histogram, maybe scatter plot. If you are trying to do bivariate analysis, then you are talking about box plot. So for numerical variable we are looking at histogram and box plot. So that's the trick to visualizing data. You have to first know your data type, and then when you know the data type you can now choose the suitable data visualization for that data type. So that's my own answer for that. I prefer you can now help us to answer the question on statistics, and then you can also talk more on the visualization also. Thank you. Hello Abefe, are you with us now?
Yeah. Well, you said
Yes,
something. Sorry, my
yes,
network went
yes.
off. Please repeat
Oh, no
yourself, please.
problem. Yeah, there is a question in the chat about inferential statistics, and then there's another one on visualization. I've answered part of the visualization own, but you can still put your own input, and then you will need to help us to answer the one on inferential statistics. This critical method. I want the answer to me too. I need the answer to that. Thank you.
Okay, all right. So basically, so I have a question on inferential statistics. I really don't understand the critical value part. So the consideration of the right. So the thing is all so this is the reason why most people don't use the critical. So this is what people reason why people don't use the critical value method. Is
Even
a
me, I
bit
don't use it. P-value too. Okay.
yeah, p-value is actually p-value will just do the whole job. So like I used to say, I just mentioned that part because I just felt like there is a
But you
need to
can still
mention it.
explain. Let's see if I will get it now.
So basically, what the critical value method means is that first thing first, you have to get your test statistics. Then you have to get your critical value. So your test statistics is what you've gotten, like probably your Z test, your T test, your chi-square. You must have gotten it in your step, I think step 4. Now to get your critical value, you have to go and get uh your level of significance first. Now, for every type of test you are running, there is a way to get the critical value. Now, if you are running a Z test, okay, you have to know the values by heart, either from one tilde or two tilde. I know the values by heart. So if you are running a two tilde test and your alpha level is 5%, your critical value is going to be plus or minus 1.96. If you're running a two tilde test and your alpha level is 5%, your CV will be plus or minus 1.96. If you're running a two tail test and your alpha level is 1%, you're going to be using a critical value of 2.5758. In fact, let me share my screen. There are critical value calculator out there. You can also use Excel to calculate it. So let me also get it for you. You can also use Excel to get it. There are ways you can get. So you see why people don't use it, because it's just unnecessarily stressful. So please permit me to share my screen.
You have the screen. You can share your
Yeah,
screen.
please, please give me the permission to share my screen. So this is one calculator
You
that I
have all the
use.
power.
I used to use this calculator. Please let me know if you let me know if you can use my screen. Sorry, if you can
I can
check
see
my
your
screen.
screen.
Sorry, you can see my
I
screen.
can see
Okay.
your screen.
Now, so you can see right here. This is an Omni calculator. Now it asks you what distribution do you want. So let me say z-test. If I click on z-test, it asks me, so do I want a two-tail test, a left tail test, or a right? So let me just zoom in so that you just focus on the aspect we need to focus on. All right. So do I want a two-tail test? So if I say alpha level is 5% and I want two-tailed, so you see that the critical value is plus or minus 1.96, plus or minus 1.96. If I say I want a left tail test, you see that it has changed to minus 1.645. So if I say right tail test, you can see that it's plus or plus 1.645. If I change this alpha level to, let me say, 0.10, sorry, give me a second, 0.10. At two tailed, the value is plus or minus 1.645. At left tail is minus 1.28, minus 1.2816. At right tail, it is this. Now, this is for a z test. If I'm running a t-test, if you're running the t-test, you are going to be needing your degree of freedom. Now, your degree of freedom for a one-tail test is the sample size minus 1. So if you're running a test and your sample size, let me say, is 30, so your DF will be 29. It will be 29. Your alpha level is 0.10, and you see your CV is 1.3. So you see why people don't use this step. It's too long and complicated. In fact, you can also use a t-table to do this. So people don't use this step at all because it's just complicated. It's not needed. You can also come for a chi-square. So for a chi-square, you also need your degree of freedom. And for a degree of freedom for a chi-square, your DF is number of rows minus number of columns times number of columns minus number of. I'm sorry. For chi-square, the formula for your degree of freedom is number of rows minus 1 times number of columns minus 1. So all of those things you have to know it. But where you can just get your p-value and just go like that. So do you see why even SPSS does not go through the stress of getting this CV for you? They just give you your p-value and you move on because it's very stressful. It's so unnecessary. So you have to get your CV first, then get your critical value. Then you now come and start making your decision. So let me show you something. The critical value. So that's why people just leave it there, like let it be. It's not needed. So now see it there. So if you're using a two-tail test, so give me a second. So if your value falls here, so this is the rejection regions. These red parts, they are the rejection region. So these two red parts, they are the rejection region, and this one is the acceptance region. So if your test statistics is more than your CV or is lesser than your CV, you are going to reject. If it falls here, you're going to accept. So you see why I'm trying to tell you guys that you don't need to stress yourself and start trying to use this method. It's really not something. I don't use it. People don't use it. It's just when you want to flex your muscle. So see it here. Acceptance region, rejection region. If your values falls here, you don't need to stress yourself. I said you need critical value. Your p-value method is enough. You understand? Your p-value method is actually enough. So I don't see the need why you should start stressing yourself to start. But it's just a rule of thumb. If you're using a one-tail test, so that means if your critical value is more than your, so for a one-tail test, so let me just show you something now, just because I want to do it for doing sake, just for the doing sake. Yeah, exactly. So let me say rejection and acceptance region one-tail test. So one-tail test. So this is it here. So if I'm working on the one tail test, okay? If I'm working on the one tail test, a right tail test to be specific. Where is this diagram now? If I'm working on the right tail test to be specific, and I want to make my decision using the critical value method. So this is the rejection region, this shaded region, and this is the acceptance region. So if my test statistics is more than the critical value, so the critical value here is 1.96 or something, then you are going to reject. If it is lesser, you are going to accept. So it means it falls in the acceptance region. And if it is more than the critical value, it falls in the rejection region. So the same thing applies to left tail test region. So we also have the one for left, so the same thing to left. So this is for left tail exactly. So for left tail, you just flip it. You can see if it falls here, you reject. If it falls here, you accept. And for two tail test, it has two shaded regions. So you see why people don't use it at all, because it's just unnecessary. Just get your p-value, get your alpha level, then compare. If your p-value is more than your alpha, you fail to reject. If your p-value is lesser than your alpha, you reject. And as simple as that. So secondly, how do you know the best V's charts to use? Like I used to say, the chart you are going to be used for your V's is dependent on a couple of things. Number one is the type of variables that you're working with. If you're working with a categorical variable, there are charts that work for that. Example is the bar chart and the donut chart or your pie chart. They only work with just a single categorical variable. If you want to visualize the property of a numerical variable, you're going to be using an histogram. If you want to visualize the association of two numerical variables, you're going to be using a scatter plot. If you want to visualize two categorical variables, you're going to be using a multiple bar chart or a single bar chart. So before you can visualize, you need to know the type of variables that you are working with first. Is it numerical or categorical? Then next, ask yourself, how many am I visualizing? Am I visualizing two numerical at once, or am I visualizing two categorical at once? So the good news is that I have a playlist on my channel where I talked about data visualization, all of those guys, and when to use them. So I'll just share that to you right now. Under this playlist, I talked about a total of, give me a second, please. Yeah, so I'm getting the playlist right now. I talked about a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 playlists: how to use a bar chart, how to use a pie chart, an histogram, a line chart, a scatter plot, and a box plot. So you can watch that video. It's going to assist you on understanding the statistics behind data visualization. So that's one playlist. I'll share that playlist here. Then I also have like another video where I talked about the statistics of data visualization, so where you can understand data viz from the statistics standpoint of things. So let me get that video out for you too, so you can actually check that out. So that's just it. So if you can watch this video, you actually understand the basis of data viz. And give me a second, where is this video, and where to use them. So that's just it. Yeah, thank you very much. You can continue.
Okay.
I'll just look for the video.
Yeah. Thank you, Abefe. So you can see on data visualization, we gave the same answer. You just need to know the data type first, and then you're actually good. So on the materials, I think this is the material for, is this day 2? The one for descriptive statistics. This slide is actually there, and this slide is showing the data visualization that can be used for each type of data. So that's just the repetition of the answer we gave also. You can look for this slide in, oh, I'm not sharing my screen. Just go and look for inside the descriptive statistics PDF, the material. There's a page on types of data versus suitable descriptive statistics slash visualization. So you can go and check that also. Please, have we answered your question? I can't remember the person that asked the question. Kindly react or talk if the question has been answered. The person that asked that question, that is Esther Chukudi. Oh, okay.
Yes, it's been answered. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Abefemi, I have a question for you. Okay. So I know if we are doing a two-tailed, test, and so I think it's kind of straightforward. If p-value is, I mean, what am I? If p-value is less than 0.05, then we have a decision that we can take. If it is greater than, then we also have decision that we are meant to take. But what if we are doing maybe a right or left tailed test? How do we now interpret our p-value?
I don't know what you mean by interpret your p-value, but I don't know what you mean by interpret your p-value. But what
how can we interpret our results?
That's it. See, the p-value method does not care whether your test is left-tailed, right-tailed, or two. It does not determine. It does not consider the direction of your test. You've already done that by getting the p-value. So once you've gotten your p-value, you've considered probably it is left-tailed to x spaces have done everything for you. So that p-value is just only the thing to use to make decision. You don't need to look whether it is right-tailed or left-tailed or two-tailed. Do you get? It doesn't matter in that
Yes,
context
yes,
anymore.
yes. Oh, okay,
It is
okay,
when you are
okay.
using the critical value method that you have to now start looking for is it a left tail test, is it a right
Maybe you
tail
want
test.
to
So that's why
multiply by
people,
2 or something.
yeah, so that's why people like to use the p-value method. No need to be multiplying by 2 or divide by
I
2.
don't want to multiply by 2.
Exactly, you get.
Oh yeah, okay. Thank you for that clarification. Okay, so two people's hand are still raised. If you can close this meeting by 1 p.m., I would like that. I have another question. Okay, we'll answer another person before we answer you. Okay, but I love the fact that you have questions. It means that you've actually been following the class. See, like the first time I heard about inferential, in fact, my first encounter with inferential statistics was from a course PCA 404, and then his introduction to biostatistics. I can tell you, I did not get it. Like I know I have to pass my exam, so I didn't cram. I crammed a bit, but I in like halfway I know what I was doing. I know if the question comes like this is what I will do. This is how I will calculate my test statistics. This is everything. But I didn't get the whole point of it. But I had a lot of questions which I don't have anybody to answer for me anyways. So I have to start to watch a lot of YouTube videos and everything. So if you watch that video on differential statistics and that is your first encounter and you don't have questions, then maybe you need to watch it again and then try to think over everything. Okay, so Badamosi, I will unmute. I will allow your mic now and then you can ask your question. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. Good afternoon. Good afternoon,
Good
everyone.
afternoon.
Thank you very much for this program. So thank you to Miss Messi and Mr. Abefe for giving us out of their weight of knowledge, and I really appreciate that. First of all, I would like to go straight to my questions, and my question is I have like three questions. The first one is about the descriptive analysis. By Miss Mercy. I want to ask something. First of all, I'll ask about measure. On the SPSS, when you actually, age and let's say age, we have age of 21 to 30, and it is kind of ratios, and we on the measures probably we choose a scales for it. But in the case that whereby we change the variable into this thing, probably it is not it's not a ratio again, that it just like we convert it like to
To
maybe
category, to age range. Are you asking about age and age range?
yes, it an age range. So what is going to be the measure?
Okay. So age is a numerical variable.
Yeah,
Age is a numerical variable. Why age category or age group is a categorical variable.
yeah.
So that I
So
think
what
that's
what the
in
measure
SP
the measure
the mayor in SPSS has combined both ratio and interval into scale. Actually, I didn't put it in that presentation, but ratio and interval they can be grouped together and called scale. So in SPSS, you don't have ratio or interval. You just have it together as scale, but you have nominal and ordinal separately. So if you are trying to define your variable for age in SPSS, it is going to be scale. While if you want to define your variable for age category, it's going to be ordinal. Have I answered your
okay.
question?
Yeah. So my second question on that descriptive analysis. So I have here you talk about maybe probably that would be a last one that you will actually answer, because I want you to talk more about this bivariance and this fee variance something. These are I
This
use some
by
bivariance
variate and
rate and something rate
univariate
analysis
analysis.
and univariate analysis. So I want you to talk more
Okay.
about it, but I don't want probably maybe after the whole when you answer the whole questions. So and another question I have here is I have question about inferential statistics. Okay, don't let me go there first. Let me complete it on descriptive analysis. So on the descriptive analysis, if we have
Wait,
actually get
let
all,
me let me let me say something first. I told all of us, if you have question, use the form and type it there. Okay, no problem, but continue.
okay, maybe okay. So another one is on this descriptive analysis. Can we say if you have a descriptive table that we are creating our variance, mean, all the central tendencies. So can we? Is there a way to also interpret our results on it? Is there a way
Yes.
to write out our results and all these things? So how do we do that?
Oh, wait,
Like
after you've
you
gotten your mean median mode, are you saying what is the interpretation for the mean median mode?
how to interpret the whole descriptive table, you know, it will contain on table abi.
So
So
do you mean like in your project, like the write up?
yes, how do we the result, how do you have the results, and can't just have the number there and without
We can't
getting
just have
some
the
right up.
tables. I understand. So oh, you guys going to come around and talk about data interpretation, but really data interpretation is just English. Is English. You have to find a way of just writing it. Well, to be more vast in that, you might try to read several research articles, several journal articles. Just go online and search for journal articles, maybe pertaining to your own field of study, and you will see how they actually present their results. Yes, but you guys also come in to talk about that. I really don't like academic writing anyways, but it's fine. You have to, as a researcher, you have to write it. You have to do it. So let's say we have age now. You have age and you have the mean age. So you can just say, and you've gotten the mean, then you've gotten your range. So you can say that, okay, the age for the age variable, the age range from maybe 12, the age of respondents range from maybe 12 years to 31 years, and then the mean age is so. So that way you've been able to like interpret that particular result. Did I answer your question on that?
Yes, to some extent,
Okay,
maybe
so
probably when we have interpretations,
yes,
interpretation of
yes.
so about it. So
Do you have any other
another question.
question?
Yes, I
I
have.
think I might want to go to other people's question and come back to your question.
Okay, no problem.
Wait, okay, Abefe, please, do you want to talk about the two of his question I have answered? He asked question about the mayor of scale for age and age category, and he also asked question about data interpretation.
We have not talked about the bifariant and the birates analysis.
Yes, I know. Abefe, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can actually hear you. Please, can you repeat the question again?
Okay, so
Okay.
first, there's one of his question that I have not answered. I think you should deal with that. That is univariate and bivariate analysis. So I mentioned it in my slide. It needs more explanation on that. And also, he asked question for the measure of of age and then the measure for age category. Then he also asked
The
the question
measure for
about
age and age
age
category.
category. Yes. Then he also asked about data interpretation. For example, when we've done the descriptive statistics, how do you kind of interpret your data or kind of write it? So those are his three
And
questions.
so when it comes to interpretation, there are different writing skills, and the standard is APA style. So you just have to know how to interpret with APA style. For example, if you're interpreting the mean, you have to interpret the SD with it. For example, the average age of my respondent is 16.7. Once you write that 16.7, you put in bracket SD
Plus or
is
minus
equals
or
to.
something.
Do you understand? So that means you will report. So you just need to know the reporting style you are using. We have APA style, we have Harvard, we have Columbia. So you just have to pick the one. But the standard reporting style for analysis is APA. So this is another thing entirely that you need to go and learn how to write using APA style. If you want to report your test statistics, so if you let's say you performed a Z test, and you want to report it, you will say, based on my analysis, blah blah blah. Our result shows that there is no significant difference between the average age of male and female. In brackets, you write your test statistics. Z is equals to test statistics, and you write your p-value is equals to 0.000, and you write your alpha level 2. Or you can say your p-value is less than 0.05. So there are structures, there are ways you write your reports, but go and learn how to write statistical reports using APA style, APA standard. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So please go and learn how to use statistics to write, to use APA format or APA standards to write statistical reports. So that is something entirely like you have to go and learn, okay? Because I don't think it was part of the syllabus or the part of the scope of this course.
You guys even coming to talk about data interpretation and kind of
Oh,
research writing, just one class. So maybe he's going to.
all right.
I will tell him that people have a question on that already. So
All right, that's fantastic. So what's the next question? The second question.
age category. What will be their measure of scale of measure? I used to mix it up. You get the point.
It depends. It depends on what you're working with. Age is a numerical variable. Age category is a categorical variable. You understand? Age
Perfect.
itself, 16, 17, 18, 20 is a numerical variable. So that means if you collect age, is a numerical variable. But you can now recategorize the age. It now depends on the scale you are using. Different people have different scale. If you go to your Google and type scale of age, different continents, different countries have different scale. Just pick the one that suits you. In Nigeria, between the age, you are only an adult once you are 18, right? So between the age of 0 to 10, there is something. So between the age of 13 to 18, you're a teenager. From 18 to 20 something, you're an adult. From 20 to 20, you're a young adult, a middle adult. Then we have old age. So you have to get the range. So I cannot tell you there's a particular range. So you just have to like Google it and know the range, and then use it for analysis. So before you start analyzing your data set, you have to understand your end targets, your end consumers, and what age range they are used to. Most times there's a standard. I just go to Google and Google the standard age categorization. You will get it, and then you will now apply it to your this thing. And what was the first question?
The first question
Analysis
is
and
about
bivariate.
univariate and bivariate analysis.
So univariate is just when you analyze a single variable. If I have a data set if I have a panel data set and it has like, let me say, it has age, it has height, weight, gender. If you just analyze just gender in any way you can, that is univariate. So that's where you just use mean median mode, you use your bar chart. So whenever you analyze a single variable is univariate. Whenever you analyze two variables, it's bivariate. It's bivariate. At that point, you use a scatterplot. Scatterplot, multiple bar charts or components bar charts. Things that allows you to combine two variables together and work on them. Cross tabulations, those are the attributes of bivariate analysis. And we can have multivariates, meaning more than two. That's where the likes of one way and over comes into the picture, when you compare more than two variables, and that's just it. So somebody said, so some people having asking some questions here
in the chat.
I don't know. Yeah, somebody said, what's the difference between a data table and a lookup table? I think you should answer that.
That question is not for this class. That person is learning Excel or Power BI.
It's Excel now. It's Power BI or Excel that you're asking for.
Learning Excel or Power BI. So you can maybe message me, but that question is not for this class. So yeah.
So the next one I'm seeing here is, so when you know whether test is skewed or not, how do you choose to the particular? Okay, how do you choose which particular parametric test to use if your data set is normal? So before you know when you know whether your test is skewed or not, your test cannot be skewed though. It is your data.
The person is talking about the variable, yes.
It is your data that can be skewed.
Okay.
Do you understand? Your test can be skewed. It is your data that can be skewed. So when your data is skewed, now skewness get level. So there's actually a number we use to quantify skewness. There is a number we use to quantify skewness, and then so there's a level to skewness. If your data set is too skewed, it's very, very skewed. Like the skewness is more than, let's say, 0.7 give or take, then you have to assume that it is very, very skewed, and you have to use non-parametric test. If your data set is skewed, it means that it is not normally distributed anymore. I mentioned it in my video that once you see that your data set is skewed, so skewness alone is not enough to tell that your data set is not normally distributed or not. So you have to basically have to perform normality test. You have to perform normality test to show that okay, this is a normally distributed data set or not. So once you've performed your test for normality, then you can now decide whether you're using a parametric test or not. If your data set is normally distributed, it's parametric test. If it is not, it is non-parametric test. So parametric test includes your z-test, your t-test, your one-way ANOVA, your two-way ANOVA, your test for correlation. So you have to perform you have to make your normality test first before you can be able to say you want to use a parametric test or not. And the parametric test you are using depends on the problem you find yourself, the situation you find yourself. If you are testing for the difference between a single variable, there's z test, there's t test. I think let me just give you guys a video on this. It's a different topic entirely of its own. How to know the right statistical test to use. It's a different thing entirely. I think people are asking questions that are way above what we're supposed to do right now. Some things
Well, I
we're
don't.
supposed
I
to
get.
get
I
there.
get. It's actually normal. Yes, we will still get there. That's the point. We are still going to talk about t-test, and then you will know. Okay, if I have this kind
So
of data, then that means I will
yes,
use
when am I
t-test.
using a t-test? When will I use a t-test? When will I
We are still going. Even under the t-test, we now talk about the non-parametric counterparts. All of that will happen next week, so we'll still address
exactly? So we'll still
most of
address
this.
all of
But
these
it's good that they are
questions.
very inquisitive. There's no how you are going to watch the video on inferential statistics, and if that is the first time you are getting exposed to it, you must have a lot of questions. So it's actually very good. So you can watch the video you just attached there. That is very good. Also, there's this. Okay, you can watch this video. I can. Okay, that's fine. What other questions do we have here? Yes, that's good. And also, you can always explore. Try to look for books. If you have plenty time on your hand now, try to look for books on inferential statistics. Try to just search YouTube, search Twitter, and then try to just read. You are not going to get it at the first time. It might look like you want to scatter your head, but when you keep reading it, keep going over it, at the point you are going to, it's going to sink. That's it. Okay. Please, I have a question. Please, do we have any other question? Hello, can we still hear me? So, Badamosi, this will be your third question. It's fine. Please, if you still have any other question, you can still write it in the chat.
Somebody is asking, can you explain the difference between standard deviation and variance and IQR? Toby, you should
Yes,
answer that.
yes.
I'm sorry, Mercy, you answer that. I don't know. What's the
Can you?
difference between one way ANOVA and two way ANOVA? If I start doing that right now,
No, we
we'll
can't do
not
that
leave this
now. We'll do
question.
it in the. We have question. We have a class on that now. We have a class on that. A video will be
If you
out
want
on
to know
that.
the difference between one way ANOVA and two way ANOVA, the video I sent to you, you can check it out. It will answer your question.
Okay, because it's already 1 p.m. This I plan this to be like 1 hour. So okay, the question on standard deviation and the question of standard deviation and what is it now? Standard deviation and IQR. So both standard deviation, I'm not sure what you meant by variation, but both standard deviation and interquartile range, they are both measures of dispersion. So this is the point. Standard deviation goes with mean, because standard deviation really literally is talking about the average distance from the mean. So it goes with mean. Why I am interquartile range more of goes with the median. So if you've actually checked your data and you see that okay, I can use mean as the measure of central tendency for this data, then what you can use to actually indicate the variation is your standard deviation. And as I said, the standard deviation literally means average distance from the mean. So if you've looked at your data and you see that okay, the best measure of central tendency to use is the median, then what you should use to kind of indicate the variation is the interquartile range. And what is interquartile range? We know that range means from the minimum to the maximum value. For interquartile range means the 25th percentile to the 75th percentile. So I don't know, did I answer your question a bit? That's Olajumoke Bakari. Hello. Um, I want to get your feedback. If I've answered your question, you can type or you can actually speak too, but maybe your mic is not active. But you can reply if I've answered your question. If not, I can like give more explanation. So that's like the difference between the two. Abefe, do you want to add anything to that? Okay, so
Please,
now,
Miss Mercy, I have something to say quickly.
okay.
Yeah, the YouTube
You
video
are
that the YouTube videos that are here, is there a way we can have it on the WhatsApp group so that it will be easy for us to go back to it whenever we have things we do not understand?
That will not be that will not be like from my own end anyways. If you find a way to download
Um,
it, then it is fine.
okay,
Do you get?
okay, okay,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I saw in the group that people are saying these people that have YouTube Premium that can download it. That is not a setting from my end. I don't know what happened, why YouTube is doing that. Um. Okay, so another question here. Good afternoon. Concerning coding for multi-choice and grid multi-choice question, don't we add the question or we just use the option of the question as the label and just use yes or no as the value? So I understand what you are saying. If you like, you can actually add under your label, you can add the question in front of it so that you can understand. But when you start running your analysis, your result might look funny because it will be very long. So what I used to do most of the time is that before I actually start coding for each option under the grid, each option under maybe a multi-choice question or under grid kind of question, I add a variable which is just like an empty variable that just contain the label, and then that variable. So for example, let's say the question is B12 now, so I have a B12 that there's nothing there, it's not going to have any data, but the label is going to contain the full question. Then I now have B12A that contain each option with the yes or no this thing, with the yes or no response. I hope I answered your question, Adeyemo Temidayo. Okay, so how do we enter secondary data using SPSS? So the Monday's class is descriptive analysis with SPSS, and we'll be using a secondary data. So the way we enter secondary data is the same way, and then so you will be in class on Monday, and then you see the way we enter. It is literally the same way. Yeah. Please have the I don't know what e-link means here. Um, for string categories in SPSS, if you leave the variable view blank for a particular case, the data view won't allow. Did I get this question? For string categories, if you leave the variable view blank for a particular case, the data view. Please, can you unmute? Let me try to unmute to I don't know. I'm coming. How can I? Can you
Oh,
raise up your hand, Adeyemo Temidayo, so that I can enable your mic so that I can ask your question? I can't. Yeah. So I didn't get your question. So you can speak now.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Good
Good
afternoon,
afternoon.
everyone. Now, my question is, okay, I was literally going through the video you dropped and
Yes.
trying to work with it. Where the option where there was orders, please specify. You said something like some persons, like some of those options, it's just people answer randomly. It's not as if the options are there. It's not like a yes or no option. So in
Yes.
order for
Okay.
you to
How to deal
have,
with that, right?
yes, ma'am.
So to deal with that, you have two options really. You might want to actually create a variable for orders to actually indicate that okay, these people picked orders, and the response to that will be yes or no too, so that you can say maybe 20% have this, 20% have that, 10% have that, and then 5% for maybe other options. But now after you have that orders, you might also want to indicate like the contents of the others. So because of that, you can now have another variable still for others, but this time you will now code it as a string variable, and then you will make sure that the width is actually very, very large, so that whatever data you try to enter into it, or whatever data you try to paste into it, no matter how long, it is going to contain it. Did I answer your question?
Okay, Ma, if we are to write it like on the variable view, are we going to write it on the variable view? Then if we want to enter it in the data view, is it also going to be the same thing?
Mm, I don't get your question. So you already coded
Because
others as string, right?
yes,
So
ma'am.
you want to now enter the data.
So I left the values blank and went to the data view to just put
It did
what
not
the
allow you to
person is
enter it.
containing. Yeah,
That
as
is
soon as I entered
because
and pressed
the
tab.
data type, did you set the data type as string or numbers?
Yes, I set it as string and I changed the width to 20.
Mm, are
But
you on your
I left
system?
the values blank
The values is meant to be
on.
blank. If it is string, it will be blank.
So when I went to the data view, I also typed on it. When I pressed tab to the next case, it went blank again for that particular
Uh,
key.
I think I understand. Are you on your system?
No, ma'am, I'm actually charging it on it.
Okay, so I would have told you to share your screen so that we can see what the issue is. But in cases like that, the issue might be that the data type is not set to string, or the whatever you typed is too small. 20 might be too small. If you type something that is higher than 20, it might not, like, it might just make it blank. Did you try to type what is not up to that width that you set?
Yes. What I typed was not up to 10.
Mm, I'm not sure what the issue is, but assuming you're able to share your screen, then we could have looked at it together. Maybe in the next live class, you can share your screen if you've not been able to resolve it.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's actually nice that you're following the class and you're trying to do everything. So I guess we have just one more question left. Badamosu, you can ask your question.
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity. Um, my question is actually, is there any standard for a certain number of respondents you can have before you can go and analyze? Probably, is there a standard for it? One. And the other thing is, in a situation whereby you have any this thing, any of if value that's less than 0.5, and it is against your how these are the positive hypothesis testing, and you want to, like, it is has to be 0.5 or less than that, and you're having like 0.6 that is against your this thing. Does this populations of respondents can cause it, or what may be the problem? I don't think, do you get my question?
Yeah, I get your question. So when you are taking us outside of data analysis, you are taking us into research methodology. Yes, and like, yes, you are taking us into the research methodology actually. So all of that one, to determine your number of sample, that's dependent on your methodology. Then you are going into sampling methods already. There are formulas. I don't know much about those formulas. There are formulas I can use to determine the number of samples that you should work with. So depending on your population, then you can now determine, oh, it's best, it will be good for me to work with this particular sample. So that's the answer to that question. Is the number of population going to affect your p-value? I don't know. I'm not sure about that. I don't think is number of your sample going to affect your p-value. I honestly, I'm not sure about that, but definitely if a research is not done properly, if you didn't pick the right number of respondents, if you don't use the right formulas to get your sample and all of that, it might probably affect your results. But I'm not too clear about that. Abefe, please, do you want to contribute to that?
I don't think I have anything to contribute to that. I think we are okay for that.
Okay, okay. So is there any other question? Is there any other question? I'm just going to count 1 to 10 and then I guess we are okay. I don't think there's any other question. For Adeyemo, I think we've answered your question, right? So if nobody, no other person is signifying to have a question, then this is like a convenient point to. I have another question. Wow, I love you. Okay, you're very. It's good. It's good. Okay, so what's your question? You can. I think your mic is good, so you can ask your question. Hello, Adeyemo. Um, you are muted already, but I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can
Okay,
you
I'm
hear
sorry
me?
for taking your time. I just
Oh, I can't hear you again. Please, is it my network?
wait now. Ma, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay. I'm very sorry for taking your time. I just wanted to ask when you were teaching about missing values and duplicate values using SPSS. So when I wanted to try that same data, the one we used for Excel, when I tried it on XPSS, I was not able to enter the data. So what I did was I had to copy and paste the data on XPSS. And when I tried running a descriptive statistics to know if there is missing variables or missing values, it showed no missing values, but some of the cases were empty. So why is this? So is it because I did a copy and paste or
Uh,
what?
it
Why do
it might be because of the copy and paste actually, but the SPSS file that I use for the SPSS video is also under the drive, so you can actually download that particular SPSS file and use it.
okay, just for XPSS, not the Excel on.
Yes, though the Excel one you might be having mistake because of the copy and paste. Now in on like Monday's class, you will see the downside of actually copying and pasting your data into SPSS. You can actually import it into SPSS instead of that. So I think it might be because of the copy and paste. But another thing, I think it might be because of the copy and paste. You should actually see the same number of missing value. Another thing I want to say about that particular data is that so when I was working on the video, I forgot to save the initial value. So I forgot to save the initial data before removing the data sets and stuff like that. It's possible that I uploaded a file that doesn't have missing value at some point. So I could not replicate the data or the missing value again. So do you get the point? But the most important thing is you knowing how to carry out the process. Do you get?
Okay, man. Thank you, man.
Yes, you are welcome. Okay.
I really appreciate it.
Hope those videos will not be deleted on YouTube after the training. Hmm. Okay, for now, I don't plan to delete the videos. But honestly, the thought crossed my mind this morning because I plan to actually record the whole of this week's video between 4 to 7 a.m. this morning. That is 3 hours. But at the end of the day, I just finished one video, just the video for Monday by 7:30 a.m. So I was like, all of this stress, maybe I'll just take down this video after a while and turn it into a course. But I don't know. I've not made up my mind. I don't think so. I don't know. I don't want to promise if I've not made up my mind on that. But that is it. Okay. um Okay. So is there any other question before we actually close the meeting? There's going to be a test. There's going to be a test tomorrow. So I'm going to send the test link later on to the. You see it on WhatsApp. You see it on YouTube too. A video will be uploaded on YouTube, but it's just something that's telling you that okay, today is for test, and then go and write your test. What else? This video will also be uploaded on YouTube. Now, that test is actually very, very important for people that want certificate. If I ever made up my mind to create a certificate for the course, then the certificate will only be issued for people that scored up to 50% or more in the test for the 4 weeks. So those are the only people that will get the certificates. And then if I don't know, I have a lot of things in my head that I plan to do on the training, but I've not made up my mind if I want to execute all of them or not. If there's going to be maybe a sort of award, maybe for the people that are most active or people that have the highest scores in the test and all of that, then definitely you have to write the test to be qualified for that. Also, I'm thinking that the test should not just be objectives alone. It might have practical aspects. So this means that um I might upload a file. There might be an assignment folder where we have a file, and then you need to analyze the data in that file before you can actually have the answers for your before you can like pick the answers for the quiz. I want to make sure that those answers are not OBJ, so that some people will not do Tokini Tokeji. So you might need to just enter the numerical value for the answers. But I've not made up my mind. I've not even set the test for tomorrow's. I've not even set tomorrow's test, and I'm going to work by 4 p.m. today. But it's fine. I have a question here. Please, some of us don't have a system. Honestly, I understand that some of us don't have a system, and I don't know what we can do about that. I posted something on my on my status, and maybe we should go and solicit for money on Twitter for people that don't have system. Maybe we can see people that will buy system for us. But I don't know how that can work out. For people that don't have system, you can still try to be diligent with taking the course. For the part that has to do with actually analyzing the data with your by yourself, there will be an option to actually impute that I don't have a system. So the fact that you don't have a system will not lead to maybe reduction of your score. So you can just answer the part that is just OBJ alone and leave the practical aspect. But if you know that in the questionnaire for registration you did not pick that you don't have a system, then it's going to affect your score. I don't know if yeah, that was it anyway. So is there any other comment, question before I close the meeting? Um if there is none, so I want to appreciate Abefe once again for coming to this meeting, to this live class. Actually, your presence was felt. You actually helped us to trash out a lot of statistical questions. So we really appreciate that. Please let's clap for Abefe.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was nice to be here among you guys too. I hope we do this more often. Thank you.
Yes, we will meet next week with 2 live class. I hope you'll be available for that if you are chanced. What else? I want us to take pictures, so you can if you can on your camera, kindly do so. So I will take a screenshot, and then we can close the
Yeah.
meeting.
You want to take a
So switch
screenshot?
switch on your camera. Yes, I want to see your face.
Is it everybody on me?
Everybody.
Webcam, you see.
We'll wait for you.
Ah, oh, ah. Yeah, I need to go and look at my webcam now. Even we almost record this. I don't know where I dropped this my cord.
Okay, please, everybody. I'm waiting for that. So switch on your camera. Oh.
So you shall want to see a fine boy now in this moment.
Uh, yes, I want to see you.
I just give me a second. I've been able to. This. All of a sudden, cities getting so in privacy. I know you're such to try me. You can't imagine you.
Your voice is not sweet.
Oh, serious. You guys should give me a second. Let me just say. All right. Oh, the other thing, oh, it's hello for me. Yeah, you see, I'm making me to
Oh,
trans.
oh, wait. Can I enable camera for everybody? We are just 42 now. Oh yeah, let me try to enable camera for as much as I can. Okay, let's see.
The skies are leaving me so strong. Okay, I guess. Hey, before you on, my beg, come now. We are heading to the top.
So please check your camera. I'm
All the
trying to enable
music then
camera
go.
for I think for most of us. So if your camera is enabled,
Then all of a
kindly
sudden,
switch on your
cities go
camera.
day. I mean, yeah, I'm looking so inviting.
It's
Okay,
looking so
so
inviting. Go.
yeah, thank
I'm
everybody.
enabling camera for people. What did you say? Let me start from the down part. Okay.
All right, so let's get
Wait,
this
wait,
ready.
more. I'm more enable camera for the participants.
My wife is waiting for me.
Yeah.
Oh, ma, don't spoil my family.
When
Oh.
you marry, when
You know,
you
concern
marry.
you. You know, concern you when I marry you.
Ah, okay. I think okay. I think this is good. Yeah. So let me take the screenshot. Look up now, Abefe. Why you dey hide your
I'm taking my own
face?
picture too. Ma, le makayo de mi o.
Okay, okay, okay. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, go. This is started for Oleron. It's not that hard. You understand statistics. Don't worry.
Again? Are we going
Okay.
again?
Someone is saying still not enabled. Please let me try to enable for this person. Please, can you raise up your hand? Olayemi, Shola. Okay.
Ah. So have you taken the screenshot?
1 minute. Okay, okay.
Ah. So can you hold the
Any
post in me?
suru?
Make I hold my post.
Oh yeah.
Or my post rather.
1, 2, 3, go. Thank you. So I went the meeting now. It's nice having everybody here. The video will be uploaded as soon as network cooperates. Okay, so bye bye. I'm afraid to disappear.